Welcome to The Aftermath. I'm your host, Simeon Hahn.
And Noah Troxler.
And we are here today with a very special episode. It is our first episode where we're bringing on a guest.
Yep, and today we have the one and only Luke J. Walker.
You want to say hey?
Hey.
Yeah, that's Luke Walker for you. He's been one of our longtime friends from way back. And he actually provided that awesome intro music that we put before.
I think it's pretty good anyway.
I like it. It's like nice, catchy. It's not over the top, but it's pretty good.
Yeah.
And so, you know, it works. So
I don't remember it.
Luke doesn't remember it. We're going to let him listen to it after we're done recording. So then he will remember it.
Yeah. And
Maybe.
So you do make music, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah, okay. Tell us a little more about that.
Well, you know, it's where you decide to get your computer and then press buttons on it and then see what sort of noises come out of it. You know? That's pretty much all there is to it. And then if you're lucky, maybe it will sound somewhat decent.
Yeah.
And
What a gross understatement.
no, that's pretty much all it is, really. So, or at least that's how it feels like to me, anyway. So,
No.
because then you listen to it a few days later, and it sounds nothing like how it sounded when you finished making it a few days earlier. So it's very strange.
I think that's true of all art, really.
Right.
Like, I know the theater cast at AFA, we record most of our shows, and the cast hates watching it.
Right.
Like, we hate watching the show.
It's so much different when you see it as opposed to when you make it, so that makes sense.
So I totally understand, but no, your music, Luke, is I've seen you get better, even over the past couple months as you've been messing around. Like,
For sure.
like your first, like even your first stuff compared to this beat you made for our intro, like you're improving, and you'll continue to improve if you keep it up. So
yeah, and we'll be sure to provide a link to his music in the description of this podcast, so if you want to check it out yourself.
He's one of those SoundCloud mumble rappers.
Yes, indeed.
Yes, of course.
You can say that again.
He's one of those SoundCloud mumble rappers.
I have a pretty low resolution picture of myself in sunglasses, you know, just sort of vibing, homie.
For sure, man.
Yeah.
Oh, gotta love that
With
SoundCloud
fire emojis,
platform.
you know.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So,
For sure.
Luke, what besides your music, we're kind of doing a little bit of an interview here,
Right.
And then we'll go on to talk about some topics with Luke here. So, aside from music, what else would you like our audience to know about you?
Well, I'm homeschooled. So that automatically lowers my status a little bit. Or maybe it just the opposite.
It raises it here, man.
Well, yeah.
In this circle.
Well, it depends.
It's a homeschool circle, so it's not very good.
Yeah, well, yeah.
It's more like an
oval.
dodecahedron.
Or that.
Homeschool circle.
Homeschool circle.
So it's all sorts of... It's a circle with angles. Pretty much.
Circle with angles.
So, I like hoodies.
Yeah, you're wearing one. Well, that's kind of a jacket.
It's a zip-up hoodie. I actually really like it.
It doubles as my pillow. If that's a fun fact for you.
Really?
What else about me?
You do mock trial, right?
I did, but then I lost. So that's a pretty.
Wait,
hard
are you
punch.
not in the competition this weekend?
No.
No.
Well, see, it's one team that split into several. And my team lost. So.
Oof.
Oof.
Sorry.
Mega oof.
You'll get them next time.
Yeah.
That's what I said the year before.
Well, keep saying that till you get them.
Okay.
That's that's how competition works.
Right.
That's
It's
some
the
good
mindset.
advice. Yeah.
It's the mindset.
That's a good mindset. If I do say so myself. But
Yeah.
I think you just did.
I don't think I mindseted it hard enough.
Exactly. You got to really set your mind to this mindset.
You gotta want it. You gotta want it. Then it'll come true. So yeah.
One thing I really need to know about you, Luke, though, and this is probably more important than anything else. we've talked about so far. I've got 2 questions for you.
Who were you voting for in the 2020 election?
Not that.
Oh, I'm not allowed to.
Also, yeah, you're not old enough. None of us are. No, I need to know your position on these 2 questions. Is water wet, and is a hot dog a sandwich?
I think a hot dog is a taco.
Whoa.
And with the water being wet, well, it depends on the water's mood. If the water is kind of, if he's kind of hard-hearted and just a cold attitude, you know,
Right.
it's not generally that wet, but
Gotcha.
you know, once it's warm, he starts to sweat a little, and then
Yeah.
so that's a very cheesy, yeah.
That works. No.
That's funny.
It's probably the first. That's probably the first time I've heard someone say it like that. Because
Well, what would you say?
I would say personally that water is not wet,
Not wet.
but it's also not dry, because it's the thing that makes other things wet and or dry.
Chaz Smith lays it out for
Yeah,
you.
yeah.
If you really want to know, he's a YouTuber. Now he's a talk show host.
Really?
Yeah, it's his own project though. I don't know.
Okay.
I watched one episode and it wasn't that good, but anyway.
All right.
Well, it doesn't get better than this, I tell you.
If we could get like 5 seconds of silence, I'm going to turn the gain down on the mic and remember that messed up our audio
Right,
last time.
yeah.
So
All right, we're good.
if we lose it, it won't matter now.
Right.
So, all right. And I can edit out any weird parts, or I might just leave it in there. just for
just for the
moment of
right
awkward silence.
experience,
Yeah.
because then it becomes
Yep.
it's more conversational.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
you know, in conversation, there are these moments that you think, man, I shouldn't have said that, you know, but
Or maybe I should have said something.
or should have said something else.
Right.
Yeah.
That, especially when you're in your like tween-age years, like 11, 12, 13, and you're trying to figure out how to conversate on a higher level than middle school, but you're still learning, and there's a huge learning curve.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't think about anything in those years, so
Just your mind was blank for 3
if
years.
I would, the only thing I would have thought, if I could think, I would have thought I should have said something. But I wasn't thinking or speaking, so you know.
It's like my chemistry teacher from 2 years ago, Mr. Nett Cox, said guys have a nothing box where
This
you
is
can
true.
sit there and think about literally nothing, and apparently women can't do that.
Which I don't understand.
It's pretty easy.
You just literally sit there with a blank expression, and after a little bit, you're just like,
you just let go, and then like bacon's on repeat in your head.
yeah, well,
Bacon,
bacon.
Pizza.
pizza. All right, moving on to our first topic. Now that you guys know a little about the person that is Luke J. Walker, as we like to call him, our next topic we have written down here is indie games. So, Luke, you were the first to suggest this, so I'll put the pressure of starting this conversation on you.
Well, you know, if you're a person who does not like to pay money for games, here's an idea. Go to itch.io or GameJolt. They have lots of nice, silly games there that you can waste your time with, and they're free. You don't have to pay. You can pay if you want to, but you don't have to.
So, for people who don't know, I know Simeon isn't exactly an expert on indie games. What exactly is an indie game?
They're basically video games that are made by individuals or groups of individuals. They're mainly freelance people who meet online on indie game forums or something, and then they decide, you know, I've got a game idea. Are you guys cool with getting together and working on this or something? And so then they make a stupid game for others to enjoy. So.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Now,
It's not much more.
I've played a few indie games, just not knowing that they fit under that umbrella, you know?
Right.
And they're worth it. Like, it's cool, you know, to have a game that is... Because a lot of mainstream games right now, Fortnite, have gotten too grand
Right.
to be fun anymore, right?
Right.
So it's all about the flash, the clout, as they say, and it's become a religion instead of something that you can just sit down and play for fun.
Yeah.
So indie games are a nice way to take a step back from all that and just do whatever the heck you want with some buddies. You know?
Honestly, I mean, a lot of really big games nowadays started as indie games. Minecraft is one of them. It started as an indie game called Cave Game, and it evolved into Minecraft, which is still one of the, I think it's like the second most profitable games of all time.
Yeah.
Second only to Tetris, I think.
Yeah, I mean,
So people love
Tetris.
squares.
people love geometric object-based games.
Yeah.
I know Luke, so as some of you may or may not know, Minecraft kind of resurged in popularity at the end of last year. Mm-hmm. And so Noah and I got back into that kind of with the flow of everyone else. But Luke over here was going all hipster on it and playing Minecraft before it was cool.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Before it was cool again.
And then I stopped because then there were lots of gifs of Steve dabbing, and I can't conform to that sort of thing. So.
I just can't support it.
Wait, that's his name, right? Steve?
Yeah, Steve.
Yeah, Steve.
Yeah, there's several, but Steve was the one.
Mm-hmm.
The blue guy.
Yeah, the one that ruined the Minecraft community.
It's all Steve's fault.
It's all Steve's fault.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my gosh, Steve.
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 Indie games. Is Scribblio an indie game?
Scribblio's a browser game. It's
a
different.
browser
I don't think it might be classified as an indie game.
Well, excuse me.
It's just a .io game,
Yeah.
which is sort of a subset of its own, but I think it might classify as an indie game.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
It's really fun to play with friends, though.
Yeah, it gets like I was saying, that same enjoyment of, you don't have to worry about the clout or
Just draw some stupid-looking Homer Simpsons.
That's how it goes for us. It's another Homer.
It's another Homer.
Like the word you're supposed to draw is tree. Homer Simpson.
Homer Simpson.
Somehow.
Just green.
Oh, good stuff.
Oh, Lord.
Good stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Man.
Wholesome.
What's your favorite indie game, Luke?
I'm not really sure. There was one that I played a while ago. It was called Bird Gut, and the story is it's where you're a bee. Okay, you're a bee that was born in a bee colony, and
Right.
you were deformed, and so you were kicked out of the bee community, and so you're filed for unemployment. But then a bird comes and eats you, and inside the bird is a sort of dystopian city.
That is the single greatest thing.
So it doesn't. You wouldn't think it was. It doesn't sound that intelligent, but but once you start playing on it, you realize that you really can't stop playing it, and everything just worked together so nicely, and so I think that might be my favorite, and
That
yes, and
yeah, that sounds amazing. Like
The creativity of these people never
Yes,
ceases
that's the
to
thing.
astound me.
the creativity is the most creativity you'll ever find.
Well spoken.
let's I have an idea. Let's see how creative we are. Let's see if we can create in the next 2 minutes a verbal storyboard for our own indie game.
All right. So we got to start out with genre. All right.
Okay.
Are we going to go for comedy or drama or horror or adventure? What sort of
Adventure comedy.
adventure comedy?
Horror comedy.
I like that.
Horror adventure comedy.
Horror adventure comedy. We're really taking all of these at once. All right. All right.
Well, should we do the name first and then work from there, or should we?
I think we should come up with an idea first and then base the name off of that.
Okay.
It's a socialist country that has
That's a
failed.
good idea. All right. A
socialist
failed socialist country.
And
All
you
right.
are a underground capitalist supporter,
Mm.
and you see your moment to arise in the ruins of this socialist country.
And so
Or
you
maybe-
have to build your way up
Well,
through.
a good horror thing you could go for is, it could be like Venezuela, where you're a kid who's on the street,
Ooh.
trying to
Ooh.
evade the cops, because
Evade.
they're just gonna.
Or Italian, how about you're a kid in the streets of Russia, because we're still going with socialist. And so at
Wait,
every...
isn't Venezuela
Well, Venezuela
socialist?
is-
Venezuela's also socialist, but Russia's the big one.
Mm-hmm.
Russia's the one everyone knows about.
It's the
Yeah.
big of anything. So.
Well, no, it's
And-
indie games. We can't go mainstream.
That's true. All right, so Venezuela.
Yeah.
Well, I think. Yeah.
And so around every corner, the jump scares are these big dudes screaming in the other language, and if you translate it, it translates to "eat the flesh of the capitalists."
and they have those. What are those pizza dough roller things?
Oh yeah, yeah,
Those are their weapons.
yeah.
So it's like a cross between a chef and a cop, and they all have the face of Quasimodo on steroids.
Exactly. Yes. And so the idea is to infiltrate the government. Well, no, the idea is to escape the country
Yeah.
and flee to a better society.
But then at the end, you try to go to America, but then you get deported.
Obviously.
And the game starts
The game starts over.
No, there
No,
could
no.
be multiple endings.
Yeah, multiple endings.
I like that.
Maybe an ending where you become the ruler of this country.
Yeah, that'd be
Venezuela. What should we name it though?
Where now?
Eat the flesh of the capitalists.
See, now the pro. Well, actually, if you were to put that on itch.io, I don't think they would mind. Honestly.
Yeah, honestly.
I was gonna think, they would be tempted to take it down, but it's a capitalist. Okay,
But
well,
then-
I'm fine with this. Okay,
But then you click on it, and it's actually not in support of socialism.
Right.
And you see all the horrors. That
But see,
come with
it gets someone to draw them in because they're like, "What? Oh, okay. So this is going to be controversial. I should check it out." And then you realize it's not. It's
actually,
it's
that is genius, because I've played a few anti-capitalism games.
So of course you have.
Most of them actually were. They had a lot of lecturing in them, and so I got bored and just. So that's the main reason, but yeah.
Yeah.
So I think this is a good idea.
I think this is a
we
great
we
idea.
just need to
Learn how to program a game, and
Yeah.
it'll be good.
If there's anyone out there listening with any game designing experience,
We're all ears.
yeah,
Like
slide into the Aftermath's DMs and
yeah.
hit us up.
we could get the
We can provide no financial support, but we can provide an endless source of ideas
And moral support.
and moral support.
We'll have your back.
All right.
I think this is a good start.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We got this.
We
All
got
right.
this.
We can do it.
So, moving on from indie games now,
All right.
we're trying to keep this episode relatively short.
Yeah.
So, let's move into our last topic, which is Mexico
The land of the tacos.
and tequila.
And
Why are we bringing up Mexico?
So me and Luke are going on a missions trip to Juarez, Mexico. We leave Sunday, actually.
Yeah.
Lord willing.
Lord willing, indeed.
Mhm.
Yep.
So, you want to talk about what we're going to be doing?
we're going to be building houses, not to toot our own horns, but toot, we're building houses. It's at a orphanage / education rehabilitation fill your soul sort of place, and I think that it's a ministry of YWAM, but I don't really know much about that, but they have people who will come and help out with the children there, and so they need a place to stay, and they have a few houses for them to stay already, but there's never enough, and so we're going to help build some houses for them to stay at. And
Specifically, the frames of the house is already built, so we're going to be putting in drywall, plumbing, and electrical into the houses so that they'll be ready to be lived in.
most likely we'll probably be able to finish at the very least one of them to the point where it's pretty much all done. It just needs to be cleaned up. So.
Cleaned up, painted, probably.
And then the other one we should have mostly done. I feel we don't have the last trip there was a guy who really knew a lot what he was doing, and so he got us on a really good pace to start off with. So
Right.
I'm not sure if we'll be able to get as much done as last time, but I think we should get a lot because a lot of us kind of got experience through failure.
Right. It's the best way
So,
to
yeah.
experience.
No, yeah, that's correct. And I know you mentioned probably won't get painted. It's probably a good thing because Noah's the messiest painter I know.
No, I'm not.
Was it you?
No, it was Alexa.
Oh, it was Alexa. Alexa's the
Just
messiest.
blame your
painter
girlfriend.
I know.
Goodness.
I mean, she'll admit it herself.
Sheesh.
Alexa, if you're
kidding.
listening, Noah just threw you under the bus.
Hey, look, all right.
All right. So no, Luke, don't I remember seeing? Was that you or Sam that got your hair braided last trip?
I think it was both of us.
Both of us.
You know, I'll definitely be joining in on that trend this
That's
year.
awesome.
Yes.
Look, I'm looking at you. You could probably get your hair braided.
My hair was twice as long.
Yeah,
then I
You
think.
could do the front bit here, though.
Yeah,
Or
for
just
sure.
get a whole lot of them, you know.
Yeah.
You'll have to send us pictures to put on the Aftermath Instagram of you two with braided hair.
You
now that
bet.
we've talked about it.
Yeah, well, see, yeah. I suppose, but the problem is the person who did it won't be going, so I'm not so sure.
Is there any teenage girl who going?
Actually, I don't know.
Well,
if,
there are who are going.
Yeah,
but I'm not
but
sure
I don't
if
know
they're
that they
willing.
would do that.
Yeah, I'm
I
not
know-
sure if they're.
I know that
willing.
Elena would, but she's not going, and she was
She-
the one who did
yeah.
it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So-
Okay. Well, we'll see. I don't know. You'll have to do your best to get those photos, but they're not guaranteed.
Yeah.
Oh well.
We will be going to a market, and so I guess we can take pictures of ourselves in sombreros. I guess
Ah, yes.
maybe that's cool.
Yeah. Well, that is. There's a chance the trip might not happen, right? Because
There's a
Right.
slight chance, but
right.
We're leaving it up to the individual families to make a decision on whether they want to go. What with the danger of catching coronavirus and also the danger of potentially the U.S. shutting its borders and us being stuck in Mexico, which I don't think is a super huge possibility, but the possibility is there.
well, the possibility of that is that's actually the reason why they would be closing the border is to prevent it. So the chances of us catching coronavirus is probably almost nothing at all. But
well, I wouldn't say that, but
well, it's not that high.
And even then, for us, coronavirus would just be
it'd be a bad flu.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So it wouldn't be fun, but it wouldn't be life threatening. So we'll see. All right, this has been a good episode.
Sure has.
If I do say so myself. But
It's been really nice having you on, Luke.
yes, thank you so much for your
Thank
time,
you.
Luke. Yep. And
course.
it was a pleasure having you on. We'll have to do it again sometime, man.
Yes,
If you're willing to come back on, we will be willing to have you.
I'd be
Sure.
willing to come.
All right. So until next time, what was the motto of our game?
Eat the flesh of the
Eat the
capitalists.
flesh of the capitalists. All right.